God says, "Listen closely, my beloved soul." This moment is not arriving to pressure you or to demand your attention through urgency. It is arriving because your heart has reached a place where it can receive calm truth without resistance. When messages appear again and again, it is not because you missed something before, but because understanding unfolds only when readiness meets timing. You may have noticed how often life tries to speak through quiet nudges rather than loud interruptions. Those nudges do not chase you. They wait patiently until you slow down enough to feel them. Slowing down is not falling behind. It is how awareness sharpens and clarity finds room to settle. God says, "You have been moving quickly for a long time, carrying responsibilities, expectations, and unanswered thoughts." In that movement, moments of stillness may have felt unfamiliar. Yet stillness is not absence. It is presence without noise. When presence grows, understanding begins to feel natural rather than forced. Notice how these words are not asking you to fear what comes next. They are inviting you to trust where you are now. Trust does not require certainty. It requires openness. Openness allows life to meet you without tension. You may feel a gentle curiosity rising, not anxiety, not urgency, but a quiet interest in what is unfolding within you. That curiosity is a sign of readiness. Readiness does not rush. It recognizes when the heart is prepared to listen without defensiveness. God says, unexpected moments do not always arrive as disruption. Often, they arrive as insight. Insight shifts perspective without shaking the ground beneath you. It helps you see familiar things differently, and in that difference, peace appears. There is no need to analyze why this message found you now. Analysis belongs to the mind. Reception belongs to the heart. When the heart receives without judgment, understanding stays longer and guides more gently. You may notice your breathing slowing as you remain here. Calm is not something you create. It is something you allow. Allowance removes effort and makes space for clarity to arrive whole. God says, nothing essential is being withheld from you. What aligns with your growth will approach without force. What no longer serves will quietly step aside. This is how life organizes itself when awareness leads. Stay with this moment. Let it remain simple. The message is only beginning to unfold, not to rush you forward, but to meet you exactly where you are. As the calm from the first part settles more deeply, your awareness begins to open in a gentler way. There is no sudden realization, no dramatic shift, only a gradual easing of the inner tension you may not have realized you were carrying. This easing is important. It signals that your heart is no longer bracing itself. It is resting, and rest allows understanding to surface naturally. God says, there was a time when you felt the need to constantly stay alert, as if missing something would set you back. That feeling did not come from failure. It came from responsibility. You cared deeply about doing things right, about not overlooking what mattered. But over time, you have learned that awareness does not require constant vigilance. Awareness thrives when the mind softens. You may notice now that your thoughts are not racing ahead. They are moving slowly, intentionally, leaving space between them. In that space, insight grows. Insight does not arrive through force. It arrives through quiet attention. When attention is calm, clarity becomes gentle rather than overwhelming. God says, you have reached a point where you no longer need to chase meaning. Meaning reveals itself when you are present enough to notice it. Presence changes how you experience time. Moments feel fuller. Waiting feels lighter. Movement feels intentional rather than rushed. There is also a subtle shift in how you relate to uncertainty. Uncertainty once felt like a gap that needed to be filled immediately. Now, it feels more like an open space that does not threaten your peace. This change did not happen overnight. It formed through every experience where you learned to remain steady even when answers were slow to arrive. God says, steadiness is not the absence of emotion. It is the ability to feel without being pulled off balance. You are developing this ability quietly. You may not notice it every day, but it shows in how you recover faster, how you reflect more clearly, and how you choose calm over reaction. As you continue reading, notice how your body responds. Relaxation is not something you command. It happens when the nervous system recognizes safety. Safety here does not mean certainty. It means acceptance of the present moment as it is. God says, acceptance is not giving up. It is aligning with what is real right now, without resistance. Resistance drains energy. Acceptance restores it. Restored energy brings clarity about where to place your attention next. You may feel now that your expectations of life have softened. You are no longer demanding constant confirmation that you are on the right path. You are trusting your ability to adjust as you go. This trust is not careless. It is informed by experience. God says, your experiences have taught you more than any instruction ever could. They taught you patience, discernment, and compassion for yourself. These qualities are not loud, but they are powerful. They guide you quietly through decisions without pressure. There is also a growing sense that you do not need to interpret every moment to feel secure. Some moments are complete simply by being experienced. When you stop asking what something means, it often reveals its meaning on its own. God says, unexpected moments are not always external events. Often, they are internal realizations that change how you see what has always been there. These realizations do not disrupt your life. They integrate into it, making everything feel more coherent. You may notice that your inner dialogue has become kinder. The voice that once questioned your progress has softened. This does not mean you stopped growing. It means you stopped measuring growth harshly. Gentle measurement allows sustainable progress. God says, you are learning to move through life without carrying unnecessary urgency. Urgency once helped you survive. It does not need to lead you now. Calm awareness can guide you just as effectively, and with far less strain. As this part of the message unfolds, let yourself remain unhurried. There is no finish line here. Understanding unfolds layer by layer. What you receive now will continue to settle even after the words end. Stay present with this stillness. Let it deepen without effort. The message continues, not to rush you forward, but to support you as awareness grows naturally. As the stillness you have been allowing continues to deepen, something gentle begins to reorganize within you. It does not announce itself. It does not ask for recognition. It simply settles, like clarity finding its rightful place. This is how understanding grows when it is not rushed. It arrives quietly and stays longer. God says, there are seasons when the soul needs information, and there are seasons when it needs reassurance. You are in a season of reassurance. Reassurance does not add new weight to your thoughts. It removes unnecessary pressure from them. When pressure lifts, insight becomes clearer without effort. You may notice now that your attention is no longer searching for what comes next. It is resting in what is here. Resting does not mean stopping. It means trusting that movement will happen naturally when it is needed. This trust is a sign of maturity within the heart. God says, you have learned that not every pause is a delay. This shift changes how you experience waiting. Waiting becomes spacious rather than heavy. God says, spaciousness allows reflection without judgment. You can look at your journey without criticizing its pace. You can honor effort without demanding perfection. This balance strengthens your sense of self in a quiet, stable way. As you continue with this message, notice how your inner posture feels. There is less guarding, less bracing. This openness does not make you vulnerable in a harmful way. It makes you receptive in a healthy way. Receptivity allows support to be felt rather than merely understood. God says, support does not always come as solutions. Often, it comes as steadiness. Steadiness allows you to face choices with calm discernment. Discernment is not loud. It does not rush decisions. It clarifies them over time. You may feel a subtle warmth in your awareness, not emotional intensity, but comfort. Comfort is often overlooked because it feels ordinary. Yet comfort is one of the strongest signs that alignment is present. Alignment reduces friction between who you are and how you live. God says, alignment does not require constant affirmation. When alignment is present, life feels more navigable. Challenges do not disappear, but they feel less personal. You respond rather than react. This change preserves energy and clarity. As awareness continues to settle, you may find yourself reflecting on past moments with more neutrality. Neutrality does not erase meaning. It allows meaning to be integrated without emotional strain. Integration helps experiences become wisdom rather than weight. God says, wisdom does not demand attention. It influences behavior quietly. You may notice yourself choosing patience more easily, listening more fully, and releasing expectations sooner. These shifts indicate inner balance strengthening. There is also a softening in how you relate to the unknown. The unknown no longer feels like a threat. It feels like an open field that does not require immediate exploration. Knowing that you can enter it when ready removes tension from the present. God says, when tension dissolves, gratitude becomes easier to access. Gratitude here is not excitement. It is appreciation for stability, for breath, for the ability to remain present. Appreciation deepens contentment without reducing ambition. As this part of the message unfolds, allow yourself to remain unhurried. There is no finish line being approached. There is only continuity. Continuity allows understanding to deepen gradually, becoming part of how you live rather than something you remember. God says, "What is forming within you now will continue to guide you even when this message is no longer in front of you." Guidance that integrates does not rely on reminders. It becomes instinctive. Stay with this calm. Let it remain uncomplicated. The message continues to move toward completion, not to conclude abruptly, but to arrive gently where it belongs. God says, "Now let everything you have allowed yourself to feel gently settle into clarity." Nothing here was meant to rush you. Nothing was meant to overwhelm you. This moment is about arrival, not urgency. Arrival happens when the heart recognizes truth without pressure. As this message reaches its final unfolding, notice how your inner world feels more organized, as if scattered. Thoughts have found a quiet place to rest. This is what alignment feels like. It does not shout. It does not demand proof. It simply feels steady, honest, and present. God says, "What you have been sensing is not confusion leaving, but confidence returning." Confidence that does not rely on outcomes, timelines, or validation. Confidence that exists because you are grounded in who you are becoming, not who you were trying to be. You may realize now that the unexpected things you once feared are not arriving to disrupt you, but to refine you. Refinement is gentle when it is accepted. It polishes rather than breaks. It clarifies rather than replaces. This is how growth respects the soul. God says, "You were never meant to live in constant anticipation. You were meant to live in awareness." Awareness keeps you present enough to recognize opportunities when they arrive, without exhausting yourself by waiting for them. As awareness deepens, trust becomes quieter and stronger. Trust no longer needs reassurance every moment. It becomes a background certainty. This certainty allows you to move forward without feeling pushed. God says, forward does not always mean faster. Sometimes it means deeper. Deeper understanding creates stability that lasts longer than excitement. Stability allows joy to stay instead of passing through. You may notice a sense of gratitude emerging, not tied to a specific event, but to the realization that you are supported even in silence. Support does not always come with signs. Sometimes it comes with peace. God says, peace is not the absence of challenges. It is the absence of resistance to growth. When resistance softens, learning becomes natural. Learning shapes character quietly. As this message completes its purpose, allow yourself to remain open without expectation. Openness does not mean waiting. It means readiness. Readiness allows life to meet you where you are, not where you think you should be. God says, remember this feeling. Not the words. The feeling. Feelings integrate faster than language. This calm recognition will return to you whenever you pause and breathe. You are not behind. You are not disconnected. You are not overlooked. You are present. Presence is the foundation of everything meaningful. Let this understanding rest with you. Let it influence your choices without forcing them. Let it guide you gently rather than directing you loudly. God says, when you move forward from here, move with patience. Patience is not passive. It is powerful restraint paired with trust. This message does not end something. It completes a circle. Completion brings peace because nothing is left unresolved. Stay with this peace for a moment longer. Let it anchor you. Let it remain simple. If this divine message touched your heart, please like and share it so God's light can reach more souls. For daily powerful divine messages, subscribe now and comment, Amen, to receive blessings.